Welcome to The Word, bringing you the good news of Jesus Christ every day from the Order of Preachers around the world. Today we celebrate the feast of the dedication of the Lateran Basilica. And from England, we hear from Father Richard Elmsworth, prior and parish priest of Holy Cross in Leicester and lecturer in New Testament at Blackfriars in Oxford. His preaching today is entitled, The Blessings of the One Church.
A reading from the prophet Ezekiel. The angel brought me back to the door of the temple, and behold, water was issuing from below the threshold of the temple towards the east. The water was flowing down from below the south end of the threshold of the temple, south of the altar. Then he brought me out by the way of the north gate, and led me round on the outside to the outer gate that faces towards the east. And behold, the water was trickling out on the south side. And he said to me, This water flows towards the eastern region, and goes down into the Arabah, and enters the sea. When the waters flow into the sea, the water will become flesh. And wherever the river goes, every living creature that swarms will live, and there will be very many fish. For this water goes there, that the waters of the sea may become fresh. So everything will live where the river goes. And on the banks, on both sides of the river, there will grow all kinds of trees for food. Their leaves will not wither, nor their fruit fail, but they will bear fresh fruit every month, because the water for them flows from the sanctuary. Whenever I visit Rome, which I do twice a year for meetings of the Economic Council of the Order, if the opportunity presents itself, I like to visit the Lateran Basilica. Unlike at St. Peter's, one does not have to queue to get in, nor is it full of tourists, and I think the great majority of visitors to Rome, indeed perhaps even of those who live there, don't realize that this is arguably the most important church in the world, because it, and not St. Peter's, is the cathedral church of the Pope. At the very back of the church, at the centre of the apse, is a fairly unassuming stone chair, which is the cathedra or throne of the Bishop of Rome. It is the chair of Peter. Not perhaps a chair St. Peter himself ever sat in, but it is because the Pope and he alone has the right to sit in this chair that he exercises the office of Vicar of Christ and Supreme Pontiff. So an important church with an important chair. We might go further and recognize that, as the cathedral church of the Bishop of Rome, this is the mother church of the universal church. To put it another way, because of our Catholic understanding of communion, the Cathedral Church of Rome is the guarantee that wherever we go to church, that church is part of the one Church of God. Now, this beautiful church in Rome is no more the be-all and end-all of religion than was the temple in Jerusalem. But it reminds us that it is as members of the one people of God, the new Israel, that we have the privilege of encountering Christ in his body in the Eucharist. And it's only as members of Christ's mystical body, the church, that we ourselves are, each one of us, the dwelling place of God, the place where heaven meets earth, bringing with it the mercy and the glory of the Most High. So although the Lateran Basilica is only a building, one might say, we Christians can never say that. Today's readings demonstrate just how important religious edifices are in our theological inheritance. For the prophet Ezekiel, writing from exile in Babylon, the promise of a restoration for the people of Israel culminated in his vision of a new temple, where the glory of the Lord would dwell once more, a temple that would be like a fountain of living waters welling up to quench the world's thirst for holiness. And Ezekiel's vision was indeed fulfilled in large part by the time of Christ. The New Jerusalem temple was one of the wonders of the ancient world, a source of pride and joy for the Jewish people. In such a glorious building, it was very easy to believe that one was at the very centre of the world. One was at the place where heaven had come down to earth. Yet in today's gospel, among many other places, Jesus shows a very qualified approval of this state of affairs. Even the temple, the greatest achievement of the people of God, even the sacrificial system established by God himself as a gift for his people, these are only stages on the way to something much greater, to a worship in spirit and in truth. And this is why Jesus railed against the sellers of pigeons and cattle and the money changers, not just because they were corrupt, but because they made possible a form of worship that Jesus himself made redundant by his own presence. Because it's no longer the temple in Jerusalem that represents God's presence among his people, that provides the place of mercy and forgiveness. Jesus Christ himself is God's presence among us. He is Emmanuel, God with us. Ezekiel's vision, even if he did not know it himself, was of Christ. The water and the blood that flowed from his side are the twin rivers that bring life and holiness to the whole world. And we ourselves are part of that stream, thanks to our incorporation in the one Church of Jesus Christ, whose unity in holiness is symbolized and guaranteed by Rome's less famous but infinitely more important basilica.